Welcome to the Brant Phillips Show, the show dedicated to results. Now, here's Brant.
Welcome, everybody, to the Brant Phillips Show. I'm Brant Phillips, and this is the show dedicated to just one thing: results. Just helping you guys create results in your life and in your business. And today, I'm super excited because I've got a couple of friends and students on. And bottom line is that they're action takers and they're creating results in their life and their business. And so I'd like to introduce you to Stephen and Shelley Latham. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Brent.
Doing good, thank you.
Well, guys, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on and sharing kind of your story and what you guys have done in the real estate world over the last it's less than a year, but it's coming almost a year, right? About 10 months or so?
Yeah, it was, I guess when we first contacted you to get started with training was June, July, something like that. So yeah, it's getting real close.
Yeah, I think we did our kickoff meeting, I want to say in July. So we're coming up on a year, July of last year, and it's May at the time of this recording. But why don't you guys just share a little bit about yourselves and give everyone kind of the thumbnail version of what brought you to reaching out to me, but more importantly about kind of making the decision to step into the world of becoming a real estate investor.
Sure. I guess I have to go back just a little bit. I've been working oil fields. And I've been in it the last 12 years or so, and in doing that, I mean, we've been married 13 years, so we we bought several houses. Basically, what we did, we buy a house, move into it, fix things up, sell it. A couple years later, move again, and in doing so, we enjoyed doing it. It's almost like when we get one fixed, we'd sell it just because we needed a new challenge, needed something else to do to work on. And so we had been discussing the possibility of developing and building a business where we could do this more of a full-time kind of thing. And of course, I was working oil fields. Shelley was working at a dentist office, and we talked about it. We started reading some books and doing some research and trying to figure out, well, if we do this, how do we afford it? What are the ins and outs? We've seen a lot of people do it, but they're again at the same time, the people we knew that had done it was very small. They just had their own money, invested it. It took a long time to flip it. They did the work themselves, kind of like what we had done. And so we really didn't know the ropes on how to do this. We read a couple of books. We finally we saw your book and read your book, and reading through that, gleaning from that what your outlook was, the fact that it's not just about making money, but it's also your whole life outlook was the 4 F's, I believe it was: the faith, family, fitness, and finances. Is that finances? Anyway, reading that, we liked your outlook, and so we decided, well, hey, let's reach out to Brant. Let's get a feel for what he does and see if we can hire him as a coach. And of course, we made the call and got talking to you, and then from there it kind of fell into God's hands, because literally a Monday of the week that I guess it was the week after we called you, my prayer was that God would allow us to get this business up and running to the point that I could actually quit my job by Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And that was either late June, early July. And Wednesday of that week, our company did a corporate restructure, and they let 36 of us go. And they let me. I was one of the ones that got let go. They gave us a severance that would carry me through Christmas, and it was kind of God saying, okay, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to go ahead and get you out of this job so you can focus full time on what you're doing, and here's the money to get you through the end of the year. Yeah. And so that's kind of how we got started into the flipping business, and with a real estate investment. We're not solely going to flip, but that's kind of how we got our jump start in it, and it's been a whirlwind getting going, but it's been fun, and we're definitely very pleased with where we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the F4, faith, family, fitness, and finances, is extremely important to me, because the fact of the matter is that, so many of us, people in society, entrepreneurs, whatnot, just people in the workforce, like most people spend a majority of their time working, right? They spend a majority of their time in the financial quadrant, right? Like making money to support their families, their lifestyle, whatever it may be. Spend just an overwhelming, a lot of times, majority of time in there. But as people get older older in life and things like that, that's the least important thing, right? When people are reflecting and they're retired on their deathbed, they're not like, man, I wish I would have made more money, right? Like, man, I wish my net worth was higher. Like, they don't care, right? Like, people draw closer to God, people draw closer to their family, and now they're like, crap, I wish I would have taken better care of my health and fitness. So, that is really important to me, because, I'm fortunate to have seen some mistakes that I was making when I began, as an entrepreneur getting into real estate. I was really focused just on this financial thing, right? This is the conversation that we've that I share a lot with people about be, do, have, right? People think that, man, in order to have all these things, I got to do all this stuff so then I can become that person. But the fact of the matter is, like, you need to be that person that you dream of being, that you desire to be. Like, you need to be that person now, right? In order to be that person that has a well-rounded, well-balanced life that has daily time to focus on your faith and your family and your fitness, and at the same time your finances, you need to do those things, not 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. Like, you need to do those things right now. Like, you need to, invest in your faith. You need to invest in your family and your loved ones, and you need to spend some time, on your health and your fitness, and at the same time making money. But once you begin doing those things, like being that person and doing those things, you can have aspects of living I call it the have it all lifestyle, which is you're spiritually connected. You've got connected in your love relationships with your spouse or your loved ones or whatever it may be, girlfriends, boyfriends, your children, family members, and you're taking care of your health and your fitness, whatever that is important, whatever is important to you. And all of those things, what people don't understand is, like, all of those things affect your bottom line. And because I'm a business coach, and some people are like, why are you talking about faith, family, or fitness? And one is because it's important to me. It's who I am, but it affects the bottom line. And that's what people don't understand. Like, since I've began kind of putting it all together and applying some of these things that I do, it has impacted my bottom line. And sometimes it's not immediate. It's not like right away. But whenever you think about, okay, so if I'm going to make a decision, like, for people listening to this right now, say, like, I'm going to make a decision today, like right here and now, that I'm going to, I don't care, like, just invest some time, make some effort, whether it be like reading whatever, a scripture of the day, and to invest something in your faith, and that you're going to send, your significant other, or your children, like a text or a little voice message or a little sticky note every day, and let them know how much you love them, or just do something for them. And, exercise, like 5-10 minutes, just like go get a sweat, and then, like, just start there. But if you make little investments now, those rewards come later. And so that's some of the results that people don't understand, is that when you're starting a business, right? So if you guys have just started your business in the last year, and I know you guys have been working your butts off, and that's kind of part of the buy-in of being a new entrepreneur, and so you want to build it where it's sustainable and it lasts. But also, when you get to the end of the day, that it's like, man, like I'm really proud of what I've created, but I can also enjoy it because I've built this life around it. And and so I appreciate you bring that up. And so I've getting a little long-winded here, so I'm sorry, but that's, you know, what I'm most passionate about is what you just brought up. So tell me some of the fears that you guys had, and just some of the, and maybe even you didn't have as many fears as some people, but just kind of what was the outlook when you were starting? Like, what were the big unknowns that you had, and just what emotionally, how are you going into the onset of I guess when we first met to doing your first deal? What were some of the psychology surrounding where you guys were at and going into this thing?
I guess for me, the biggest fear and the biggest hang up, and which is there again part of what led us to reading the books and doing more research, was the financial side. You know, we definitely wanted our own business. We wanted to be able to work for ourselves. And the big thing was, well, we don't have the money to go buy houses to flip. And so that was a big concern. And, you know, of course, as we would research and read, it's like, well, you can use private money or hard money loans or, you know, the different avenues. And it was a lack of education. We just didn't know that much about it. And didn't know where to find it. Didn't even know where to look yet. And then, of course, there again, that's why we reached out to get training, because we didn't know. Mm-hmm. And I guess for me, that's the biggest fear of it, just the uncertainty of how to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What about you, honey? Did you have anything else?
I think that was definitely the biggest fear for me as well, is just lack of education, of knowing, you know, where the funds were going to come from. There was a sense of you know, we liked the idea of, you know, not having to use our own money, so that opened that door, but still having to learn how you go about getting the finances was the biggest thing, because, you know, naturally when you start your own business, you have this fear of just out and out failure. You know, you have no income coming in, and you think, okay, we're going to jump in this with both feet. Are we going to be able to make it? But you know, with getting with Brant and his team, it eased that, because it was giving us what our fear was, which was the knowledge and the training of, you know, just how to go about it.
Yeah. So fast forward to today. Looking back on your fears from then to now, like, kind of what's changed, like your thoughts around money and the unknowns, kind of where you at today, and just your overall mindset as an entrepreneur.
I think for me, you know, it's a business. The whole thing is a business, and having a structured plan of action as far as with each individual property, you know, having that exit strategy, you know, you just have to look at it like, okay, we're going to buy this property. This is the process that we're going to go through, you know, with this property. And here's what's going to happen if it sells. Here's what's going to happen if it doesn't sell. This is what we're going to do with it. It's just a systematic, you know, path that we've created for our business, of just knowing that we're going to make it work. There's always going to be something that we're going to do with each individual situation to make it work. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not an option for it not to work. It's just not an option. We're going to have a strategy to make it happen.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, in addition to that, I see that, you know, again, the initial fear of just the unknown, you know, because of going through the training, you know, we understand where the money comes from as far as where to go find private money. We understand how to find and where to find the hard money loans, and we know what to look for. And so, like you say, you know, there's structure to it now, and it's a matter of, you know, all we have to do is just get out there and, you know, put in the time and effort. It's there and it's doable.
Yeah.
So the fear on that one is pretty much gone.
Yeah. The mindset portion of this thing, whatever your driving why is, whatever you know, you are sourcing your determination from. Like Shelley, you mentioned something about, like, it doesn't, like, we're gonna, you know, figure it out. It doesn't matter, like, we're gonna figure this thing out. That commitment and that mindset is probably about 80% of the factor of the ratio of creating success. Like the 20%'s like the how, but the 80% is just the mindset, like the determination, like I'm going to either find a way or create a way to make this happen. And that's why, my book about how to flip a house, the 7 fundamentals, like it starts with mindset. And that is like the most critical thing, because quite frankly, the strategies, the the X's and O's of business and of real estate, some things are going to stay the same, but a lot of those things will change and they'll shift. Before we started this, I was telling you guys about some new strategies that we're exploring in other markets. But what drives me more than anything, though, is it stems from my mindset. It stems from my why, what's driving me, and what it is I want to create. And making money is fun. Like so, like sometimes I gotta like clarify that with people. It's like, I know, like I love making money, but I love enjoying things that I enjoy doing, right? And I enjoy building a life and a business that are kind of intertwined, where I can make money and at the same time, control my time, do things that I enjoy, work with others that I enjoy working with, and serving others and giving back and all that kind of stuff. And so if you can build this thing, and I'm talking to, people listening, if you can begin with the end in mind and build your business, right, that supports the life you dream of, like that is the road less traveled. Like that is the road less traveled. Like I've seen a lot of people that have made a lot of money, and quite frankly, like they're just not happy, and it's not worth it to me. So, all right, so let's dive into just share. Like let's share what are just a couple of. I tell you what, let's close this out on you guys just sharing a couple of the biggest challenges that you would warn people about, like, hey, like this was really, really hard for us, or this was, difficult for us. Biggest challenges and biggest, your victories. And then we'll end on a high note with just sharing some people like what you guys have done and your big success story.
I think for me, the biggest challenge is real estate. There's only so much you can control. You control the houses you purchase and the properties you purchase and what you do to the properties. And then the waiting period of, what happens once you put them on the market, that becomes out of your control. And that's where it falls back into getting it into a structure of, okay, after this many months, this is what we're going to do with these properties. I think just playing the waiting game for me has been the biggest challenge. It's what turns the property. That would be it for me, I guess.
I guess for me, the biggest challenge is is make sure you do your homework, and that covers multiple areas. Make sure that you have good market analysis. Make sure you know what that house is going to be worth when you're done, and then make sure you understand what you're looking for when you go and do a rehab estimation. When you walk through a house, because we don't send the home inspector. We are the home inspector, and we come out and look at and determine, okay, what do we have to fix? What do we need to fix? What are my actual costs going to be here? Because if you don't do the homework, if you don't crawl up, stick your head in the attic, you don't open the breaker box and look at it, if you don't do those kind of things, then it can sneak up on you and bite you. And again, we can see it's so funny as we look at properties, as we're looking for properties. A lot of times, stuff that'll come through, and we'll look at it, and we can almost immediately tell, okay, that house has been rehabbed. Somebody has flipped this one, and they didn't know what they're doing, because they'll be coming back and they'll be asking way too much money for the area because they didn't do their homework. They put way too much money into it, and it may look fine. It may be a great rehab, but because they didn't do their homework, they're going to lose money. And so that's always a challenge. You just have to do the homework.
Yeah, you got to do your homework. You have to, I mean, you guys already mentioned it. Like, you got to run a business, and businesses are, we have to have numbers, right? We have to have data. We got to have metrics, and you have to rely on your formula, right? Like, you guys have my formula, but you're in a different market. So the formula is very, very similar, but it's a little bit different, right? Like, you guys know what a deal is to you in your market, and you just have to hold to that, and you have to be patient. And another thing I say is that, especially in the beginning, you have to be aggressively patient, right? Or patiently aggressive, meaning that you need to be aggressive every day in taking action, performing the habits, doing the work that's going to help create results. You need to be aggressive, like every day, making those phone calls, doing your marketing, looking at deals, building your team of contractors, raising money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Be very, very aggressive with those things. But when it comes to like buying the right deal or making a big decision or whatever, is like, you need to be patient with that. Like, you need to make sure that it really fits your model and for what you're trying to create. So like, being patiently aggressive, I think, is uber critical to creating success. And speaking of success, so let's go out on a high note and share with everyone listening. Some people may be experienced, some people may just be getting started in the business or thinking about getting started. Like, share your big success story.
Well, for me, as far as that goes, a big success story, we purchased or signed contract to purchase our first property in September of last year. And right now we have purchased and rehabbed 5 houses. We've got two of them sold, another one under contract. We've got house number 6 that we're about halfway through rehabbing. Property number 7 we purchased tomorrow, and then property number 8 we should purchase by the end of the month. And it's just rocking and rolling, and that to me is the success story. I mean, we've not even been done in a year, and that makes 8 properties that we will have purchased by the end of May.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And it's just really, again, it's a testament to, if you follow the training, you put in the effort, the results will be there.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think for me too, not only the success that Stephen just said, we're actually working our own business. We're not punching a clock. We're not underneath anybody else's thumb. We're doing things the way we want to do them, and we're able to live life, and have time not only for each other. It's something we enjoy together. We've jokingly but seriously said, it's like we're doing a hobby that we love, and it happens to be our income. So, that is success for me, to be able to spend more time with my family and be available to, aging parents and children and all those sort of things that really is what life's about, and not just punching a clock and working a 40 to 60-hour week. That's the success for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Time is certainly not equal. When you're working a job, good Lord, I remember when I was working a job, 40 hours is not the same doing something that you despise or don't enjoy, or an environment that you don't enjoy is not the same as 40 hours of working in your own business. 40 hours, if you're on vacation, spending time with your loved ones, just relax. Like, time is not equal, right? Like, if you can do what you guys are doing, and what you've done is create a business that you love and that you enjoy, like, you will never work a day in your life, right? It's not work. Well, guys, I thank you so much for coming on. Like, means a ton to me, not only coming on the show, but just all that you guys have done. You've played all in, and you're doing the work, and I'm really proud of you guys, and I thank you for sharing with everyone listening today.
We appreciate the opportunity to be able to come on here with you, and we appreciate all that you have done and are doing to help us out. And, we're honored to be here.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for everyone listening. That's all that I have for you today, my friends. But just want to encourage you guys listening to, if you're at a place where you're wishing and wondering and hoping and just thinking, like, just start taking action. Like, start taking action in your life, in your business, and begin to build your plan to go out and create results in your life and in your business. And with that, we are signing off, but thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
You've been listening to The Brant Phillips Show. To listen to past shows, get updates on future shows, and find other resources or information about coaching, visit BrantPhillips.com.